Om Sadhashivasamaramбhaಂ Vyasashankarammadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guruparamparam Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutra Bhasha Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I welcome you all after the Navaratri break. I really hope that you all worshipped the Devi in all different 9 different forms on 9 different days. So the Namadurga is supposed to be the 9 facets of Durga, and each day is dedicated to one aspect of the supreme power. So the word Durga itself means the one who removes or the one who is difficult to achieve. So there are different meanings of there. So the one who removes fear is called Durga. The one who cannot be conquered easily is called Durga. So the word Durg means fort, a fortress. And the one who lives in the fortress, in the olden days, the fort is supposed to be the one which protects the city also. So whenever there's invasion happening, the fort was so large, so big, that it could accommodate the entire city. So the entire city would be evacuated so that the people don't get harmed. Because the fort is well protected by all the soldiers, the king, the cannons, everything is protected. So there's a protection being offered by the fort, along with the protector called the king. So the entire city was protected by the king. So it's called Durg. So here, Durge or Durga here means the one who protects. So how do you get yourself protected? You get protection only by offering unflinching bhakti towards the Lord, the goddess. So here the goddess is worshipped as the Shakti. So there are Shakti Upasakas. So there are people who are only Shakti Upasakas who worship the Devi form. And in different schools of thought, and different schools, different people follow different methods of chanting. If you go to the Vaishnava Sampradaya, they do not chant Durga Sukta. They chant the Pancha Suktam as Purusha Suktam, Dharana Suktam, Sri Suktam, Bhu Suktam, Nila Suktam. They chant these 5. They do not chant Durga Suktam. In the Shaiva Sampradaya and the Smarta Sampradaya, so Smartas and Shaivas, they have these 5 Suktams, which is Purusha Suktam, Dharana Suktam, Sri Suktam, Durga Suktam, then Vishnu Suktam. They chant this. So the 5 chant this. So different people chant different things, but it doesn't matter. All of them are Devis. So Bhu Suktam and Nila Suktam also is Devi only. So, but here today we are going to look at the meaning of Durga Suktam. So is one of these, the next in the series of talks about Sukta Sangraha. So this particular section is called Sukta Sangraha, where you look at different Suktams, what has been taught to you, or you already learned from another teacher before, and you know the meaning of the Suktam along with the correct way of chanting. If you already know the chanting, it is okay. If you do not know the method of chanting, then you can also listen and get corrected the method way of chanting. So this particular Durga Suktam appears in the Taittiriya Aranyakam. So Taittiriya Aranyakam in section 4, chapter 4, section 10 and verse number 2. So 4.10.2. And it is also an integral part of the Mahanarayana Upanishad. So Mahanarayana Upanishad is a collection of all the Veda mantras. You will find Durga Suktam there. You will find Mantra Pushpam also there. So all the mantras are there in this. Sandhya Vandana mantra also is there in this. Because that's the last text to be taught, and it is mainly a chanting style. It doesn't have the details of the Bhashyam of it. So the Bhashyam is only present for the 3 subjects, which is the Shikshavalli, Brahmanandavalli, and Bhriguvalli. So these form the 3 main portions of the Upanishad. Okay. So here we are going to look at this particular section called Durga Suktam. So the word Durga, as I explained to you, means power, the one which is unassailable, the one who has got extreme power, the one who can cure us or protect us from all sorts of calamities. So it is said in the Shastram that a person who chants Durga Suktam daily as a part of ritual, he gets protected automatically from all sorts of obstacles. You do not need to do anything greater than this. So in the Arshavidya Parampara, the Gurukulam, when you go, they will chant this Suktam as part of it. So Atharva Shirsham, Meda Suktam, then Durga Suktam is chanted. Then Dakshinamurti Stotram is chanted. So all these are chanted as part of the traditional worship in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning they will do this. 6:30 to 7 is Rudrabhishekam. Then 7 to 7:30 is all this chanting. So it's almost about 1.5 hours of chanting will go through. Right? So it's a routine, daily routine there in the ashram, especially if you're studying the 3-year-long course, it is part of that. But here we look at to the best possible extent the meaning of this sukta. So today I'm going to first chant the entire mantra. Then it won't take time, it will take probably 5-10 minutes. And then we'll go through the individual line to see what it is. Om Jata Vedase Sunavama Soma Marati Yato Nidahati Vedaha Sanaf Parshadati Durgani Vishwa Naveva Sindhum Duritat Yagnihi Tamagnivarnam Tapasa Jwalanti Vairochanim Karma Phaleshu Jushtaam Durgam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadhye Sutarasi Tarase Namaha Agni Tvam Parayanavyo Asman Swasti Bhirati Durgani Vishwa Puscha Prithvi Bahulana Urvi Bhava Tokaya Tanayaya Sanyoho Vishwanino Durgaha Jataveta Sindhum Nanava Duritadi Barshi Agne Atrivan Manasa Grinano Smakham Protyavidatanuna Pratanajitagum Sahamana Mugnamagnighum Huvema Parama Satastat Sanaf Parshadati Durgani Vishwa Kshamat Devo Atidhuritat Yagnihi Pratnoshi Kamidhyo Atvareshu Sanascha Hota Navyachatsi swancha agni tanuvam viprayasvasmabhyancha saubhagamaya jasva gobhirjushtamayujo nishiktam tavendra vishnoranusancharema nakasya prishtamapi sambasano Vaishnavim loka ihamadayantam Om Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durgif Prachodayat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is the way it is chanted. So you have to be very careful about the swaras because this has got many swaras. So there are some places you have to go down, some places you have to go up, some places you have to be neutral. So see, Jata Vedase. Some people they say Jata Vedase Sunavama. So difference. So when you chant in the public, people can spot you. They will know who is a teacher and how they have been taught. So if you chant wrongly, they will say, oh, the teacher hasn't taught properly. It's not a teacher. It could be because in the practice, the way you heard and the way you practice could be also wrong. Right? So very important that you read this correctly. Okay. So the first one, this particular suktam is actually, even though it is called Durga Suktam, it is the first 7 lines are actually focused on Agni. So it is actually a prayer to Agni Devata. See, in the olden days, when I remember, when we talked of Purusha Suktam, when there was no rituals available, there was no ingredients available, the Devas, the Rishis, they offered the Purusha itself as the sacrificial lamp, right? Sacrificial to the altar, correct? Remember that. You have to remember when I say this, you should look at the previous one also. So in the olden time, there was no materials available. There was no ingredients, no dhyanam, nothing was there. Only available Purusha. So they were mentally contemplating on this Purusha to say that I do not have anything to offer. Then he said, I will myself come as the Yajna Devata. So he himself, the Bhagavan himself reincarnated, he manifested himself and offered himself to the Devas and Rishis for his prayer, for them to do oblations. Right? That's how it traditionally started. So in the olden days, there was no ingredients. Right? So the Agni also is actually Brahma's vision of Agni only. So Agni Devata never used to come down, because all the devatas were always upstairs, or they are always there, and they need not be doing anything there. So Agni had no job, really speaking, because all the oblations were offered directly to the devatas, directly. So there was no need for any transportation. Correct? But later on, when things developed, as the world evolved, the samskaras changed. New things came. The Shraddha which was there in the olden days was not there. Now it is not even there. Currently the Shraddha in this is not even there at all. Very, very little is there. You would have, so because it is not pure, because it is not in the same order or the efficiency in which the Rishis and the Devatas were offering the Yajna, the oblations which we offer is not acceptable to them, because it contains impurity. It contains clarity. There's no clarity of thoughts. So Devatas, what they say, said they want everything to be pure. They want everything to be sanctified. So Agni Devata is supposed to be the sanctifying body, correct? So what does Agni do? Agni's job is to what? Is to purify. Anything you put in Agni, it actually either consumes everything. So even today, we have Agni Samskaras. Like even if you do any, housewarming ceremony or Graha Pravesh you do, there are rituals are there where they will ask, the Vadyar will say that you take two, Mavile, and they will say that you first wash with, put some water, wash it with Dharbai. And they will say you do this, then again do this, again do this. So every aspect of every items which you use is sanctified in the presence of Agni. Because you are not supposed to be offering anything which is not sanctified before, even using those utensils also. Such is the way it was done before. See, the olden days, the Devatas, they don't have this because they never had ritual practice, etc. Everything was manasikam. Everything was through the mind. They transmitted everything. The Veda mantras were transmitted to the mind. Everything new. Now we have books, we have Zoom, we have YouTube, we have tape recorder, MP3. So many sadhanams are there. Books, bhashyams, vartikams. So many things are there to understand. So because of all these things, there is a part of Veda. There is also possible that it's been learned incorrectly. It has been modified. So the effect of the mantra is not that clear. So because of that, Agni has to now come as a mediator. So Agni Devata decided now that in the Bhuloka, people are offering rituals because the rituals are created for the human being to become more eligible, to get purified. The rituals are being done, the karmas are being done, the prayers are being done, all the karmas are being done only for the antakarana shuddhi, the purification of the mind. So when the person itself is not pure and there's a purification being done, then it has to be validated that whatever you offer has to be correct. So Agni Devata now is the intermediary. So it's called Havya Vahana. So Agni Devata's name is called Havya Vahana. So Havya means the Havis or the Agni which is kindled in the home, and Vahanam is a transporter. So Agni Devata is called Havya Vahana. So anything which you offer, Agni takes it and decides in what form it has to be transported. You cannot ask me how it is done. It is the mantras themselves says. There's a process in which it is be offered and the Agni rises up. Agni never goes flat. Agni always, when you also see this, Agni always will go up because the tendency for the Agni is to flare up. Right? So even if you gas also, if you look at it, it will always go up. It will never go sideways unless you have a problem. Correct. So Agni nature is to go up. So it takes the oblations from you and then transports it upstairs, upwards to the Devatas for in acceptable format for them to be consumed. The Devatas actually use our oblations, our rituals, which are offering, prasadam offering, and they take the essence of that and they get benefit. And then they say, okay, now this person is offering all the rituals to us. Indra is very happy, Brahma is happy, everybody is happy, and they all bless. So you get rains, you get Vayu Bhagavan gives air, then Varuna Bhagavan, all the rains, everything you're getting. So all the Devatas, what they do, they give you different phalams depending upon what you're offering. So they protect us. The same way Durga here also, by offering this prayer, Durga, what does it give you? It gives you protection to your mind. It gives protection to your mind from unnecessary thoughts or fear. So the person who chants Durga Suktam is supposed to be free from fear. Durge Struta Harasi Biti Ashesha Jantoho. Right? So what does it mean? So Durge Smrita means the one who remembers Durga. Correct? So Harati. Ashesha Jantoho means what's the Harati means that which removes. It's in the Chandi Parayanam. the Chandi part, it is one of this Matarne Madhukhaitapa is there. So in that opening mantra, it is chanted. So here, let's look at the first mantra. See, Om Jata Vedase. Right? So every mantra starts with this Om called Om. So Om symbolizes all the Akara, Ukara, Makara, the three different states of experience called the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. And all the syllables, the A, U, Ma, stands for all the letters which are coming out of your mouth, the guttural. There cannot be any letters which is outside of this. Because for anything A, U, M, so there's only three possible. You cannot do anything more than this. So all the letters which come out, they all constitute a word. You cannot have a word without the letters, correct? So all the letters constitute a word. And the word always indicates an object of knowledge. Word always indicates object of knowledge, which is cow, tree, table, pen, chair, book, computer, cup, whatever you call. All of them are words, and the words are indicating always an object of knowledge. Body also is an object of knowledge. Right? So body or shariram, they say, is an object of knowledge. And all these words, because it is actually pointing to the object outside of you, they are all the objects put together is Jagat, the universe. The universe comprises of all the objects of knowledge, including the physical body. We always fail to include the physical body in the universe because we forget about it. We always, what do you say? I am different from the universe. What Shastram says, it is also a body, it's also an object of knowledge. It's also a word. Shariram, when you say it's a word. And it indicates an object of knowledge. So Shariram also is part of the universe. So you are also part of the universe. Correct? So you plus all the objects of knowledge is called Jagat. Right? And this Jagat is what is the entire Srishti Prapancha, which is Ishvara. So Om equal to Jagat. So whenever you chant the mantra Om, you have to bring into effect the contemplation of all the universal objects into your mind. That all I'm chanting on this Prapancha, that which is the universe, which is of the nature of oneness with me, is what is being contemplated. So that word Om simplifies, simply I've given you. The Om is a Bhashyam in Mandukya Upanishad, I can like a 4-month course. Only that word Om. Okay. So I'm just giving you a simple meaning of what is Om means. Then here, Jata Vedaha. See, Jata Vedase. So the another name for Agni is Jata Vedaha. Okay. So Jata means that which comes into existence, and Vedam means that which is present in the Vedas, correct? So Jata Veda is the one which is called Agni Devata, the one who is representing the Havyavahana. I told you before, Havyavahana is called Jata Veda. So here the prayer is for Jata Veda, or this Agni Devata who is being worshipped, who is being contemplated upon. And what are you offering? Sunavama Somaha. See, Somaha is supposed to be, Somapanam is a juice. See, the Soma plant, which is a rare plant. And the Soma plant is something which Indra likes. The Soma plant is the one which is very rare to find in this universe. And there are only few people who knows where to find, they will find it. And there's a story in there where Indra was having shortage of the Soma plant in his own universe, his own people. So he somehow found out that there's a guy who's in the earth, he knows about this. So he came in the form of a Brahmin or something just to follow him. But Indra is very notorious. Indra can, for his own sake, he can do anything. For protection of his Indra kingdom. So he doesn't know what it is. The person who is looking at a tree doesn't know. For him, it is a tree. But then Indra knows that this is Soma. This is a very rare thing. And somehow this Brahmana, this person has found this. So let me follow him. So they live on this juice. So the juice means this is the essence of the juice. So what it means here, the symbolic, the literal meaning I'm telling you, it means like this. Soma Sunavama. Correct. So Sunavama here means crushing, or you can say that the juice is being, the plant is extracted, the plant is taken, is extracted, is crushed, and the juice is being offered into the fire. This is the first literal meaning. But what real meaning here is that what you are offering is your thoughts, which are channelized, centralized, purified, and then offered into the fire. Indra does not want your juice. Whatever boost juice or breakfast juice you're having, is not interested. The literal meaning of this is here is that Somaha is supposed to be a plant. And this Sunavama is supposed to be the method of extraction by which you extract the juice and then you offer it in a pot, and then you offer the juice. And then it is actually taken by the Agni to the Indras. But the real meaning of this here, we should take in Advaitic meaning, is that this Somaha represents our thoughts. And the thoughts are being churned and being refined and being made thorough, so that you offer only the right attitude. And when you're doing the puja or rituals, the mind is focused. And the thoughts which are crystallized is only sent there. So when you're doing yajna, like Indraya Swaha, Idanna Mamaha. So Idanna Mama. Okay. Some people say Idanna Mama. So Idanna Mamaha. Indraya Swaha, Idanna Mamaha. Suryaya Swaha, Idamna Mamaha. Means what? Suryaha, I'm offering this to you. Idam, this, na mamaha. This is not mine, this is yours. So that is the meaning of that mantra, idam na mamaha. So mamaha means what? Mine. So idam na mamaha means what? That means this offering which I'm giving it to you is not mine anymore, it is yours. So I do not have anything of this one. So whatever oblation you're offering, Suryaha, Somaha, Indraha, Varunaha, all of them, Agni, right? All of them, there are 9 devatas are there. All the 9 devatas you offer one by one, one by one. What do? He says, this is yours, this is not mine. This is yours, this is not mine. So by doing this process, what you're trying to do, you are trying to develop a process of giving away things which don't want to own this. So then it becomes a problem of the devatas to accept it. You have offered everything in the right spirit into the Agni. The Agni says, these people are all offering in this manner and I will take this. And if your attitude is right, like Soma, right? Sunavama. So when, just like when you're crushing the juice, when your thoughts are correct, then it is accepted by the Agni Devata. Right? So Om Jata Vedase, to this Agni Devata, Sunavama means I offer my thoughts, churn my thoughts and offer the purest thoughts, which is of nature of Somaha. Arati, see, Arati Yato, the word. Arati means what? Arati means that which is, there are obstacles, you can say. So Arati means there are obstacles. So you always have obstacles. Correct. something or the other, back pain or kai kaal valiko. You cannot sit there for long. Suddenly you'll have a headache, you'll feel itching, water, the coffee will run tono, WhatsApp check pannu tono, all these things are there. So they're all tadaigal. You will make a decision, you will make a very, very strong commitment. Say from tomorrow onwards, I'll get up and chant Durga Suktam without any problem. I will just focus. So this is today you have made decision, correct? So today's class is there. You are all fired up after the holidays. You could have taken a commitment also. Tomorrow you will get up in the morning and today you have made a resolution. Tomorrow when you get up in the morning, 6:30, what happens? Phone rings. WhatsApp messages come. Ting, ting, ting. Because we have been shutting down for last so many night. People are awake. You are asleep. Indian people are awake. Because this is a problem I have, because I'm a very light sleeper. And I shut off my phone at 10 o'clock. After 10, I do not have any, nobody can call me, nobody can reach me. Because it is my time to switch off the phone. But my wife, she doesn't switch off the phone. She'll be always be there because she wants to get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30. So she'll keep the phone. So the WhatsApp messages, they keep whole night. Somebody will be sending. Some groups will be there. No, till 11:30, 12:30, 1 o'clock, you'll see messages coming there. So you cannot sleep. Sometimes the messages are continuous sometimes. One person writes, another person writes another message. So next day morning, when you wake up, what all this decision, all this, pledges you make, promises you make, are out of the window because you're busy checking emails and phones and everything else. 1 hour is gone. Oh my God, already spent 1 hour coffee with chachi. Now I have to get up, take bath, and rush to the office. Tomorrow will again. So tomorrow again the same thing happens. Tomorrow you start, then you get disturbed in between halfway. So what it says here, these are the tadaigal, or these are the obstacles which are there. They are enemies. They are called ripuhu. So they are called enemies. So they are enemies in us, in everybody of us. Even the Swami, even everybody else got their own problems up there. There's not a single person in the universe who has got obstacles. There's no obstacles. Everybody has got obstacles. That is why we use Shanti mantra. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Why we say three? Because for what? For one's own, correct? Disturbances of one's own nature. Right? Adi Daivikam, Adhyatmikam, Adi Bhautikam. Right? All three types of obstacles are there. Right? There can be obstacle from the act of God. Heavy rain, extreme, no light, thunder, etc. will be there. They are all Adi Daivikam. Adi Bhautikam, surrounding is not complete for you. The environment which you are working is not there. No lights are there. No internet is there. Also Adi Bhautikam. Correct? No broadband is there. Problem. Right? Or you're traveling in between. You get stuck somewhere. Adi Bhautikam. Adhyatmikam is one's own readiness. I am not ready, sir. After 2 days you chant. The third day you say. Some people call and say, I think I'll take a break for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Because why? Because I learned so many things. I'm not very comfortable. I have to go back and revisit. You never revisit, because once you take a break, you're broken off. You're not going to come back. I can guarantee you this. Anyone says I'll take a break and I'm going to come back, they never come back, because that is called obstacles, arathi. Because the obstacle itself is presenting to you in the form to take a break, to saying that I will actually come. Right? That is why he says, Shastra, Veda Shastra, that's why nobody studies, or difficult to study. Right? It will test you so much that it will be difficult for you not to resist. And the person who clears that obstacle is the one who ultimately gets to the finishing line. So everybody will start on a marathon pace. Everybody will start. They'll all be running at their own pace. Somebody will stop halfway, they'll collapse, they'll just disappear. Someone will lose interest, they will just start walking. Like only 1% or 2% will go there to the end. And when he looks behind, oh, there is nobody behind me. I have so many people starting with me. Only 1% has finished, or 2 people. This is the truth of Vedanta. Right? I'm not scaring you, but this will happen to you. This will always happen to you. It has happened to me also. And you have to be very resilient, very persistent, very stubborn. That I am doing this for myself, I have to do this. So this is called Arati. So Arati means what? Not only my enemies, I am seeking protection from the other people who are enemies of mine also. What are the enemies? See, there are enemies inside you, outside you, correct? Enemies inside you, you can somehow manage. But if there are enemies outside of you, Anbu Tollaigal, who are creating some obstacles, how do you do that? So you want protection, correct? You want to be protected. Correct? So Arati Nidahadi. So Dahati means what? Burn. Dahati means in Sanskrit means burn. Correct? So Dahati means what? Let those enemies of mine get burned in the process of my thinking. So what it means is that the Somaha here talks about the thinking, the thoughts. The thoughts which are arising in your mind has to be churned, has to be filtered, refined, and then unnecessary thoughts has to be burnt. Burnt means removed. We heard how do you remove? By developing good thoughts. You can never remove bad thoughts. See, there's something called removing of bad thoughts. Bad thoughts are overpowered by good thoughts. If somebody tells you that all, see, you know, bad thoughts in touch. I don't have any bad thoughts anymore. You say this, next moment another bad thought will come. Because just now you said, I don't have bad thoughts. Immediately the bad thought will come. So never say that. What you say, I am managing my thoughts, and always my prayer or my effort is to make sure that I have good thoughts over bad thoughts. So overpowering of the bad thoughts is done by having good thoughts. This is called Sunavama Somaha. And Aratihi means those obstacles which are created by these bad thoughts, Nidahati. So they get removed or they get nullified. Correct? Vedaha. So here Vedaha means here is another name for Agni Devata. So Veda is also Agni Devata because Agni itself is called Deva because Agni in Agni Suktam, this is a very elaborate commentary on Agni Suktam. So Agni is called Devaha, Vedaha here, Jata Vedaha here, also Havyavahana here. Three meanings are given. All the three are same. Jata Vedaha, Vedaha, Havyavahana. Correct? So, Om Jata Vedase Sunavama Soma Marati Yatho Nidahati Vedaha. Okay, this is clear? First line. Then, Sanaf Parshadhadi Durghani Vishwa Naveva Sindhum Duritadyagnihi. Right. So, see, Naveva Sindhum. The word, what is Navaha means boat. Okay. See, Nav means boat. Naveva Sindhum means this Sindhum means what is ocean. So, this ocean of samsara has to be crossed by a boat. Can you cross a boat which has got ridden with holes? If you take a boat into the ocean and there are small tiny holes in the boat, do you think that you'll ever be able to cross the ocean? You will be always same position all the time, taking out water, putting it out, more water comes in, taking it out. So this is the same thing as what people are making efforts in Jiva Yatra also. Right? So what? Same thing, people are all making efforts. They are all taking out water and putting it there, but more water comes in. So they keep on doing the same thing again and again without knowing why they are doing. Because fundamentally they are not prepared. So it says here, Naveva Sindhum, right? So So sa naha means for people like us, Durghani Vishwa. See, Durga means what? I told you Durga means what? The word is a remover of unhappiness or obstacles, right? So Durgani means that the person or the remover of obstacles here is worshipped as Agni here. So here the praise for Agni. Agni is being worshipped as Durga, because Agni has a capacity to remove the obstacles or remove the impurities and then take the pure form to the Devatas. So here the prayer is for Agni Devata to invoke this Durga so that I get the right type of boat for being able to cross this Sindhu, samsara. Right? And Parshadadhi, the word. See, Parshadadhi means protection or seeking comfort. Parshadadhi means seeking comfort or protection. And what sort of protection asking for? Duritam. So Duritam means all bad, thoughts, mistakes, errors. So you're asking for protection from this Agni and requesting that you please become a boat. And the boat, I will get onto the boat, I will cross this samsara sagaraha, Sindhu sagaraha, which is ridden with duritam, which is ridden with mistakes and errors. Correct? We always have. That is why it's called, this bhumi is called what? Even though we have sukham here, this actually dukkam, in the form of inbam. Right? Inbam kalanda dukkam sunuvaanga. So it is not like you feel that this is sugar coated. So it looks good from outside, but when you start going deeper inside, you feel that, oh no, it's not like this as a thought. It is more deep ridden. That's why it says here that duritam Agnihi. So let this Agni Devata protect me from these mistakes or from these errors or from these bad thoughts which is occurring in me by forming a bridge, becoming a boat, and helping me to cross this samsara sagaraha. Aveva sindhum duritam agnihi parshadadhi. So you protect me. Okay? And who is this Durgani? So Durgani here also refers to the Agni Devata here. So another reference here, Durgani refers to here Agni Devata. So Durgaha represents Agni here. Vedaha Agnihi, Jata Vedaha Agnihi, Havyavahana Agnihi. So Sanaf Parshadadi Durgani Vishwa Naveva Sindhum Duritadyagnihi. Om Jata Vedase Sunavama Soma Marati Yato Nidahati Vedaha Sanaf Parshadadi Durgani Vishwa Naveva Sindhum Duritadyagnihi. Next. Tam Agnivarnam Tapasa Jwalanti Vairochanim Karma Paleshu Jushtaam. So now Tam. So you Agnivarnam, correct? So Varnam means say his color, okay, Varnam or a form. So Agni has got 7 called Sapta Jihva. Right? So there are 7 tongues of fire. Sapta Jihva means if you see the fire very closely, it's not one color. there are 7 colors in that. The topmost of the fire is of saffron. I don't know if you notice very closely. If you notice next time in the Agni, you will see that the topmost jihva, the tongue, is of the nature of orange color. In between, it has got red color, it has got black color, it has got gray color. So it's got 7 different colors, Sapta Jihva. Okay. So this Agni Varna, so this Agni is of the nature of colors, right? And Tapasa. So tapas means what? Due to the effect of, see, when somebody is glowing in nature, somebody is actually radiant, it is because of tapas. Somebody will say, Munjala patala param kalai irukku param. Don't talk like Shivaji Maram. You know, Shivaji, when, I don't know, this is the Shivaji movie. Or Kanna Paranga Sare. So that's a different thing. But what it talks about here is a person's radiance, brilliance is seen through the tapas, through the effort one puts. You will not be able to see it. Other person can see it. Somebody else will say, see, there's a lot of tejas, brilliance in that person. Or suddenly is very shining. There's some aura about the person. What is this? This is called tapas. Right? Through the tapas, this Agni is radiant. Through the tapas, which is, or the penance or the meditation which Agni has done for the devatas and for the Ishvara, it has been given the status of this brilliance, radiance. So tapasa. Then jwalantim. So jwala means what? Jwalaha. So it has got the jwalaha, the heat. So heat and the light is inseparable. Right? The Agni's heat and the light is inseparable. Can you say that I only want light from the Agni, I don't want heat? It is not possible, correct? Agni is inseparable because the heat is part of the intrinsic part of the Agni. So whenever you see Agni, heat is always there. Right? Wherever smoke is there, you always assume there is heat. Right? Yatra yatra dhumaha, tatra tatra vahnihi. So wherever there is fire, smoke, you understand there is always fire. You do not need to do anything. You can always understand. Right? So jwalanti. Then vairochani. So vairochani, vairochana means that who belongs to the Bhagavan. Because see, the radiance is actually, as I told you before, this tapasa jwalanti is possible only when you are part of the Bhagavan. It is a gift given by the Bhagavan. It is a radiance which is given by the Bhagavan for you to use it. All of us we are radiant people only. We are not dull people. But we think we are dull because we are not using our intelligence, we are not using the willpower to be as shining and to be more effective. But here the Devata, here is Agni Devata. He says, it's a prayer that this color is given by the Bhagavan due to this tapas, and he is of the nature of Jwalantim. Vairochani. Then karma phaleshu. So karma means the action which you do, and the phalam, phaleshu. So the action which you do and the results which is also given is jushtam. So the one who is supposed to be the bestower of the karma and phalam also. Right? So the Agni has got a capacity here to worship, is being worshipped as the one who is of the nature of radiant, the one who is effulgent, the one who is always contemplative, tapasam, jwalantim, vairochanim, belonging to the Bhagavan or residing in the Bhagavan, and who is of the nature of karma phaleshu. So karma means the action and the results. Karma phaleshu, jushtam. So Jushta means the one who is capable, who is possible to give the results due to the karmas offered by you. Then, for such a person, Durgam Devi. So, for such a person, I am offering Durgam Devi. So, Devi is here, Durga is it's a feminine gender word, correct? And that's why it's called Devi. So, Durgam Devi. Then, Sharanam Aham. So, Sharanam means what? Surrender. Okay. Sharanam means what? Not just Nuninaku surrender. You say, I'm surrendering, sir. Like that. So, Nuninaku surrender is different. You have to surrender completely. It's called complete surrender. Right. So, Sharanam Aham. So, I am surrendering myself. So, you say, Aham means not the physical body. The physical body, mind, sense complex, your ego, your manasa, everything. So, you'll have to surrender everything. So, Aham. Sharanam Aham. Then what? Prapadhye. So, I worship. So, I contemplate and I surrender to you. To whom? Surrender to this effulgent nature of Agni, who is of the nature of Agni Varnam, Tapasam, Jwalantim, Vairochanim, Karma Phaleshu Jushtam. So Agni is given more examples. So definition Agni of Agni equal to what? He is the bestower of, he is Agni Varnam, the one who is effulgent, right, in colors, the one who is radiant, the one who is contemplative, tapasam. Vairochanim, the one who resides in the Bhagavan, always. And because he is residing in the Bhagavan, this Agni Devata, it has got a capacity of giving karma phalaha. So the results. So if you do proper Agni Hotram, if you do proper Agni rituals, you will get a benefit. Correct? You will feel satisfied yourself that yes, I have done properly. If you don't do properly, if you cut short here and there, the benefit may not be as good as you was expected. Right? So, Jushtam, so Durgam Devi, to such a Devata, Durgam Devi, Sharanam Aham, Aham means Nam, or me. Sharanam Aham, Prapadhye, I am actually worshipping. Tarasi, Sutharasi, Tharase Namaha. Correct. So Tarasi here means see, Sutarasi, Tharasi. The two words are there, correct? So Tarati means cross. Okay. So Tarasi is a Tamil word. So Tarati means actually cross. So what is exactly crossing? You have to cross you're on this side of the bank, right? You want to go to the other side of the bank. In between there's a massive river or the ocean. How do you cross? See, first of all, ocean is round because you keep going around. What says samsara? Samsara kadal surra. So samsara kadal means you need the right type of boat. What is the type of boat? Veda Shastram is the boat. If you take some other boat, you will sink. Ultimately, you will sink one day. But if you take the Veda Shastram boat, correct, you will be able to be that because it's got no holes. Other things are always imperfect. Correct. All artha, kama, dharma, they are imperfect. There's always some mistakes here and there. Correct. But moksham is clear. It's ananda. So he says, you take that boat and then you please cross me. So Sutarasi Tarase Namaha. So Namaha means what? My salutations to you. And you please help me cross from this side of the river to bank to other side of the bank. So that means what, you take me from samsara kadal to moksha by helping me get onto the boat of Vedanta Shastram or Veda. And Hey Durga, who is of the nature of Agni, Varnam, Tapasa Jwalantim, Vairochanim, Karma Palesha Jushtam, Hey Durga, Devim Sharanamaham, Prapadhye, I am of praying to you. Please help me cross Sutarasi, Tarase Namaha. Got it? This can be chanted in 3 minutes. But it has got so much of importance that whenever you chant any suktam or mantra, you have to have the the punch behind it. So you have to know the meaning. Why I am chanting this? So every word has to ring a bell. Oh, Sutarasi Tarasya Namaha. So I need to cross this. How do I cross this? I need to get the boat. What boat should I get? Not like going to the market and getting a boat, taking in a trailer there. That boat won't get you there. You'll have to get on the real boat, the lifeboat. Right? So the lifeboat here is called Samsara Kadal. You have to cross that. You have to Vedanta Shastra. You need to have trust in the Guru, trust in the Shastram, and only take that as a boat. There's no other way of crossing this. So this is the meaning of the first 2 lines. Okay. So we'll just repeat the first 2 lines, then we'll stop here. Next class will continue from the rest. Om Jata Vedase Sunavama Soma Marati Yato Nidahati Vedaha Sanaf Parshadati Durghani Vishwa Naveva Sindhum Durita Yagnihi Tam Agnivarnam Tapasa Jwalanti Vairochanim Karma Phaleshu Jushtaam Durgam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadhye Sutarasi Tarase Namaha. Is it clear? Anyone has got any questions? I know for Srikanth is late. New Zealand time is 10:30. I think for even Krishnaji also is very late. And I'm glad that you are actually awake. Mama, ella okay?
அந்த மகாநாராயண கந்தம் அது கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க. அதுல இருந்து 3 இது சொன்னீங்களே, அது கொஞ்சம் கிளியர் பண்றீங்களா?
மகாநாராயண உபனிஷத் தானே? See, அது வந்து நான் the one I chanted before is from the Chandi Pataha, from Devi Mahatmya. First one I chanted, right? The one is actually from Devi Mahatmya, which I am going to start. Some people want to learn chanting, so I'm going to start that some point of time. I don't know when. But this Chandi Pataha is something, it's a very long, the 13 chapters are there. So it's a very long topic. And so I think, some people have come and asked me to do this class. So someday I'll do it. I don't know when, maybe soon. I have to find a time for it.
Okay.
So adu vandu see Matarne Madhukaita Bhakti. See there also Durge Harasi Bhiti Ashesha Jantoho means what? So Durge Smrita means the person who remembers Durga. Smarat Ashesha Jantoho. Harati means the one who removes. So the one who remembers Durga Durga removes all the obstacles. You do not need to do anything. Just chant Durga Suktam daily.
Yeah.
I would recommend that you chant Atharva Sisham, Meda Suktam, Yashandasam Rishabho, Meda Suktam, then Durga Suktam, then Dakshinamurti Suktam. Chant this and then offer Nevedyam or something, flower, something. You will be 100% protected. You do not need to do anything greater than this. You may not be able to study anything else, it's okay, but at least Durga Suktam you must chant daily. Right. Durga is the one which will protect you. In this kind of environment today, when there's so much of pandemic is there, correct?
Yeah.
So the only way of protecting from pandemic is this. This is all you can do. What else you can do? Tell me. You can only ask for protection. Please protect me. Please protect me. Please protect me. Trahimam, Trahimam, Trahimam. Right? So protect me. So protection is what you're asking for. And if you pray sincere, and if you understand what you're asking for, then it will be effective. That's what it says.
Okay.
Okay, Mama, clear Nikki class?
Yes, clear, sir. You're clear.
Okay. Samya ji, you're okay? Okay, so we'll stop the class here and then we'll continue in the next week.
Yes, sir, I'm okay. It's all clear. Thank you.
Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubh Bharatri to all of you. Hari Om.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you, sir.